Oh, 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 tirara, tirarara.
Al-Iman al-Sadiq from the huquq of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is to believe. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi was-salatu was-salam ala rasulillahi. Amma ba'du. I'm feeling much better today because traveling over here took about 24 hours from the time I left my house to the time I checked into the hotel room. And whenever I travel those long distances, especially to this part of the world, I'm afflicted and affected with chronic insomnia. So I hadn't slept for in 72 hours, I slept about 7 or 8 hours. So we thank Allah Azza wa Jal for gradually allowing me to get back to my normal state of equilibrium. Today's topic is the issue of the huquq of the creation. I only want to deal with two aspects of the creation here. And once again, it's a vast topic, so we only can touch the surface. But nonetheless, we're going to deal with some of the huquq and how Islam has looked at the issue of animals, as well as the contemporary topic of the environment, that our religion, unlike any other religion, Judaism, Christianity, Sikhism, Hinduism, no religion has come with such details as it relates to the life of Bani Adam from all angles. Like the ayat that the brother just mentioned, Allah has sent the Prophet ﷺ as a rahmah to the alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil alameen. What's the meaning of alameen? There is Allah over his arsh in a way that befits his majesty. Allah over his arsh. Al-alameen is everything other than Allah. His arsh, Jannah, Nar, the ocean, the earth, that's alameen. Rasulullah was sent, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as a rahmah to the alameen, which is another proof and indication he's not just a man. It's just not just a man. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ قُلْ. Say I'm a human being just like you, meaning he's not Allah. But he's not just a man. He's a miraculous man. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So our religion, ikhwani, is not in need of anything because everything has been explained. He mentioned in the Quran, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. We revealed this Quran to you, Ya Muhammad, and it explains everything you need to know. He said in the Quran, subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We have not left out anything from this Quran. لِيَهْلِكَ مَنْ هَلَكَ أَنْ بَيِّنَةً وَيَحْيَى مَنْ حَيَّ أَنْ بَيِّنَةً. Yawm al-Qiyamah, a person will be destroyed, go to hellfire, to the nar of Jahannam, and when he goes there, he's going to go there because things were made clear to him, and he rejected it, and he refused. And the one who is saved and he goes to Jannah, he's going to go to Jannah because things are going to be clear. Allah does not punish people. He doesn't reward people based upon ambiguity. As a Christian, you pick up that Bible, you can't understand the book. It's open for everybody's interpretation. When you read about Armageddon, when you read about Genesis, you can't understand the book. Whereas the Quran is a book that a person who can't read and write from amongst us, he can understand it. The message of the Quran is easy. No doubt there are some complicated aspects of the Quran, and people have different levels of understanding, but generally speaking, the Quran is easy to understand. And that's the nature of our religion. And the Prophet came with a sunnah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, explaining this as well. As he mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, ما من شيء يقربكم من الجنة إلا أمرتكم به وما من شيء يقربكم من النار إلا نهيتكم عنه. There is nothing, no thing, zero, sifr. There is nothing that will cause you people to go to the Jannah except I told you to do it. Have tawheed, make salah, give zakat, fast Ramadan, make hajj, make umrah, wear hijab, birru walidain, be truthful, be clean, be patient. All of those things will get you into Jannah because Allah ordered it, His Prophet ordered it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there is nothing that will cause you to go to the Jannah, the hellfire, except I made it haram for you. Don't make zina, don't make ghiba, don't make namima, backbite, lie. Don't be jealous, don't be arrogant, don't be dirty. All of those things will lead you to the hellfire. So the shahid min al-kalam, our religion, ni'mah from Allah, everything has been explained and dealt with. The issue of animals and the huquq of animals. A lot could be said, but I want to start off with the issue of the ant, an insect. There's a surah in the Quran called Surah An-Naml, the ant. Some of us, when we read the Quran, unfortunately, even Arabs who know the language, we read these stories of the Quran, and we think that's a story of the Quran. It's a story like Rumpelstiltskin, Goldilocks and the 7 bears. That's what we think it is. We think it's Cinderella and the 3 dwarfs, like that. But these stories are not for that. These stories have benefit that a father has to look at, the minister has to look at it, the wife, the young person growing up, the unemployed. We have to consider these ayat and these stories because they're impregnated with a lot of benefit. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in that surah, حَتَّى إِذَا أَتُوا عَلَى وَادِ النَّمْلِ قَالَتْ نَمْلَةٌ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّمْلِ ادْخُلُوا مَسَاكِنَكُمْ لا يحتمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. When Sulaiman came to the valley of ants, and you can imagine how many ants are located in the valley. I find documentaries about ants amazing. They are the dalil that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah. Nobody, not Muhammad, anybody else deserves to be worshipped other than Allah. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for all of his greatness, he didn't create those ants and all of the intricacies about them ants. When Sulaiman came to the valley of ants, one of the ants spoke out to the other ants and said, hey, you ants, go inside of your dwellings, unless it may be Sulaiman and his army are going to trample upon you people and they're not even aware of it. And Sulaiman tabassama, he started smiling when he heard that, understood that, because it was a ni'mah to be able to hear and understand the language of the ants. Tremendous ni'mah that Allah bestowed upon those men and made them prophets and messengers, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. The ant. And what was collected by the Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim, Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that there was a prophet from the prophets from before. Now listen to me. In my talk yesterday, I told you, part of the huquq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, having his rights, giving him his rights, you have to believe everything that he said. The secularist, the modernist, the liberal person, the one who has doubt in his religion, he hears some of these issues and he doesn't believe in it. But part and parcel of being a Muslim is you have to believe in the ghaib. He said that there was a Nabi from the Anbiya of Allah Azza wa Jal. He went and he sat under a tree and an ant came and bit him. Some of the scholars said that that Nabi was Zakaria, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, who was escaping from his people, Bani Israel, who tried to kill him. They killed Yahya. يَقْتُلُونَ الْأَنْبِيَاءَ بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ. They killed the prophets and the messengers back then. So don't think for 1 second today they're going to turn into nice people. Inherently, there's a problem there. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna ashadda an-nasi adhabin yawm al-qiyamati rajulun qatala nabiyyan aw qatalahu nabi. The person who will get the grievous, the worst punishment yawm al-qiyamah, the worst, is a man who killed a nabi or the nabi killed him. Clearly, he killed the nabi, so he's stopping the words of Allah. He's stopping dawah. He's stopping khair. Or the Nabi killed him. And the Nabi is only going to kill someone who's trying to prevent the khair from going forward. So Zechariah, or whoever this Nabi was, escaped from his people, sat under the tree. The ant came and it bit him. This Nabi burnt the colony of ants because of what that ant did. Now was not the time to get into all of those details. Allah took that Nabi to account, and he said to him, do you kill a whole colony of ants because of the i'tidad, the transgression of one ant upon you? And the nature of the ants, their nature is, if you mess with them, you give them an opportunity, they're going to bite you because you're invading their territory. This is how it is. So why do you kill all of them? That hadith shows many things. It shows the justice of al-Islam. ISIS, Qaeda, Boko Haram, Shabab of Somalia, who kill people who are innocent indiscriminately and then try to say that is al-Islam. I told you people yesterday about this concept of justice. I'm talking to you people right now. Some of us have ongoing disputes and problems. We have beef and drama with some of our relatives. It has nothing to do with me. It's a problem that existed between my father and his brother, my mother and her sister. But I inherited the problem along with my siblings. My wife, we have a problem. As a result of that, her side, they're going to be in support of her. My side, they're going to be in support of. That's not our religion. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَى أَنْ لَا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Don't allow a people's oppression towards you to cause you to be oppressive, but be just. That's closer to at-taqwa. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. Allah commands you to be just and to have ihsan. وَإِذَا قُلْتُمْ فَعْدِلُوا. If you speak, be fair and be just. Put someone outside of Islam because she doesn't wear hijab, that's not fair, that's not just. If you put a gun to her head, figuratively speaking, if you put a gun to her head and you say to her, I'm going to blow your noodles out if you don't answer this question right. You don't wear hijab. You a Muslim or not? She says, Wallahi, I believe in Allah. The fact she's not wearing hijab is a sin, but it doesn't mean she's a kafirah. We have to be fair and just. So the Nabi killed a whole colony because of the one ant, which brings me to the issue, and that is we have to be fair and just when we talk about animals and animal rights. In the West, they got it twisted. It's twisted in the West. Animals, taking care of animals, grooming animals is a billion-dollar industry. And then when we look at the rights of the human beings, the people are not that concerned. I remember in the not-so-far future, there was an incident that happened in America where they were transporting 2 giraffes. I don't know if they were taking them to the zoo, to the vet, I don't know. They had them in a truck, 2 giraffes. And they did not consider securing the giraffes so that they would lie down on the bed of the truck. They didn't consider it. So as they were transporting the giraffes, miskin giraffes, their heads were up, and the guy who was driving went under a bridge. Yes, oh, poor giraffes. And when he went under the bridge, stick a fork in them. Those giraffes are done. They died. The whole world, the West, jumped up and down, jumped up and down. Oh, giraffes, oh, giraffes, oh, giraffes. 2 giraffes died. And that was at the time when they were killing the Muslims in Palestine and in Syria. And they were killing human beings in Central Africa. And it's usually the countries where the people are not white. Right now in America, in Washington, D.C., 17 African-American young girls have gone missing in the last 2 weeks. You don't hear about that because they're black people. Had it been white people, the whole world would have been looking for them. Satellites in space would have been zooming in, trying to find these little white girls. the issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria. These people are like ISIS, crazy people. They went into a village, into a school, and they took 300 girls and ran off with them into the forest. They're still in that forest. Still in that forest. Let that happen in America. Let that happen in France. Let that happen in Europe. Now, I'm not necessarily putting all of the blame on white people, because the people of those countries have some level of responsibility. If it was not so much corruption and the people were trying to do the job and take care of their people, then what can we say? But my point here is we have to be fair. We have to be balanced. We can't be like those people in America who I know, where the guy loves his dog more than he loves his mother or his father. He has kissed his dog in the mouth, kissed his dog all in the face, but he never kissed his wife, he never kissed his child, never kissed his mother, never told them that they love him. So we have to be balanced, and we have to be in the middle when we talk about these issues. Al-Islam came, and in this hadith it goes to show there are rights for the smallest insect. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا يحقرن أحدكم شيئا من المعروف. None of you should minimize anything that is ma'ruf. Smiling in someone's face is sadaqah. You go to Jannah for that. اتقوا النار ولو بشق تمر. Put a boundary between you and the hellfire, even if it's with half of a date, by giving it to someone. You cook some food, add on the water to the curry and send it to your neighbor. Anything here, right here. Even what you guys are doing and what we're doing. And talking about the virtues of knowledge, the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna allaha inna al-malaikata wa ahla al-samawati wal-ard hatta an-namla fi juhriha wal-hud fi al-bahr yusalluna ala muallim al-khayr. Verily, the angels, and how many are the angels? And those who are in the earth, even the ant that is in his dwelling, and the fish in the ocean, they make dua for the one who teaches people good. So you as a mother, teaching your children how to eat, Bismillah, the Adhkar, the Quran, having something to do with sending them to the madrasa, that is applicable to you. It's not just talking about the one who comes and gives a lecture. The Sheikh Arif is from our elders. The different people here who have institutions where people can go and learn. This hadith is applicable to you. Al-amr bil-ma'ruf, al-nahy al-munkar, enjoining the good, preventing the evil, giving advice, telling your friend, you're too rough, you're too tough. There's a smell coming from you. You have to take care of your hygiene a little bit better. The ants, the animals, the angels, they make dua for the people and the person that teaches people good. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in mentioning this issue, clearly shows that Al-Islam takes care of the haqq and the huquq from the smallest creature and creation to the largest. You know, when I said we have to be balanced, there's the ayat of the Quran, لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. Allah said we have honored Bani Adam. Bani Adam is above the animals. So when giving this talk, I don't want any of you people to misunderstand that I'm saying we should pay attention to these animals more than to human beings. Look at our Nabi and our Rasul. For those of you who are teachers, for those of you who are parents, one of his companions, his name was Anas ibn Malik. Anas ibn Malik, his mother, Sulaim, tremendous lady, Sulaim. When the Prophet came to Medina, sallallahu Sulaim took her son to the Prophet, sallallahu took him to Islamic school. She said, Ya Rasulullah, my son Anas is very intelligent. I want him to take care of you, your special needs. He's going to be a khadim. He was 10 years old. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu was in Mecca 13 years. He was in Medina for 10 years giving dawah. Anas took care of him for 10 years. From the age of 10 to the age of 20, he was a scholar. Anas ibn Malik said, I took care of Rasulullah for 10 years. Never, ever, ever did he say to me for something that I did, why did you do that? Nor did he ever say to me for something that I didn't do, why didn't you do that? Some of us, when we grew up, some of us, I can relate to this. When we grew up, our parents were from the old school. They only knew one language. My father only knew one language, and that was the language of slapping you in your head. You got the message, but you grew up saying, when I grow up, I'm going to get him. I'm going to deal with him. So I'm saying that, not for you guys to laugh, but for the parent who's like that, rough and tough, relax and fall back. Where are you? I mean, this hadith of Anas is an amazing hadith because it's as if it is not even real. How can you be with a child and you never say to him, why did you do that? And you never say, why didn't you do that? I'm always saying to my kids, Muawiyah, why did you put the gum in Arwa's hair like that? And then he comes up with a ridiculous answer. That's worse than the crime itself. It's going to make her hair grow, Abby. Keep it together. May Allah protect my kids and your kids. As it relates to the issue of the ant, Ikhwani, I want to put this on the table. It's really important. A number of ayat in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala mentioned, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. There is nothing in the earth except that those things make tasbih of Allah. But you people don't know about the tasbih. So the ants are making tasbih. And Allah loves to be praised, and He loves to be worshipped, and He loves to be glorified. So when that Nabi salawatullahi wasalamuhu killed the ants, the colony of ants, those are a group of ants that are from Allah's creation that will cease to glorify Him, and He deserves it. So when you destroy the rainforest, when you destroy it, and you kill everything in that rainforest, you have committed a crime against Allah Azza wa Jal. You've gone beyond the limits. So as it relates to the issue of the huquq of the animals, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, as the brother mentioned in the hadith of Abu Ya'la Shaddad ibn Aus, it was collected by the Imam Muslim. He mentioned sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and 40 hadith I think you all should know. It's one of those books in Islam that everybody should start with. It should be in your room. It should be something that you read. You may not be a real diligent, strong student of knowledge, but if you get comprehension of the 40 hadith of Al-Imam al-Nawawi, you'll have a good grasp about your religion, the principles of this religion. Because Al-Imam al-Nawawi just didn't put any hadith in that book. He put the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he considered from his Jawami' al-Kalim. Jawami' al-Kalim. The meaning of that, those things that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were small in number. The words were small, but they had far-reaching implications. Many ahkam, many fawaid, many adab. Innamal a'malu bin niyat. These types of hadith, if you understood them, you don't have to even know much of the Quran. But if you understood this book, you will be like a man sitting on top of a mountain and you're just looking and you're picking the cherries in the food as you like. That book is tremendous. He brought this hadith in that book. It's inside Muslim. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة وإذا ذبحتم فأحسنوا الذبحة وَلِيُحِدُّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتُهُ وَلِيُرِحْ ذَبِيحَتَهُ. Allah has written perfection upon everyone, on everything. Perfection, al-ihsan. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. He told you to try to be the best husband. Don't give up. She's difficult. Being with her is difficult. It's a challenge. He's difficult. Being with him is difficult. It's a challenge. Those kids are a challenge. The job, being a student, the people who are organizing this thing. Do the best that you can. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Saddidu wa qaribu. Whenever you start off to do something, try to hit the bullseye. Come as close to the bullseye as possible. Now, if there was an enemy in the audience who doesn't like me, he could say, look, Abu Usamah, he's doing this, he's shooting an arrow, he's doing this, this guy is extreme. So I'm going to stop doing all of these movements because that just came to my mind. That happened to me before. They're going to show me back in the UK, I'm in Malaysia, and they're going to have a picture of me doing this, or doing like this. I'm going to stop doing that right now. Prophet Muhammad said, Saddidu wa qaribu. Come close to the bullseye. Meaning, don't close your eyes and shoot. Don't close your eyes and say, I'm going to tawakkul ala Allah and close your eyes. Do what is necessary to hit the bullseye. And maybe you're going to miss due to many factors and variables. The wind, you're not breathing, whatever. But you tried your best. And that's all Allah wants from you. Where the arrow lands is not your job. That's ultimately up to Allah. Your dawah, it's not your job that the people become Muslims, change their ways. Your job is to be a person who delivers the dawah in the best way. You bring a nice tray with the succulent, cool water, and you give it to the thirsty man. You don't bring him a glass of water and throw it in his face and say, I gave you dawah, I gave you water. That's ISIS. That's some of our people, that rough and tough approach. That's some parents from amongst us. I gave you the water. Here, drink. No, not like that. So whenever one of you slaughters, slaughter well. And when you kill, kill well. And let each and every one of you sharpen the knife so as to spare the animal from suffering. On the day of Al-Eid, Eid al-Adha, when we slaughter all of those animals, you go to the farm and the animals are all over the place, it is not permissible in Islam to take the sheep to slaughter him in front of his babies, his cousins, and his family, because you're terrorizing them. They see what's going on. That's not permissible in Islam. Because Islam has that ihsan towards things that are alive. Allah made these things halal for us. We have to be grateful and we have to deal with them in a way that is pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So that hadith clearly shows and indicates there are animal rights in Islam. But which animal rights? Which animal rights? The ones that are ma'qula, they're moderate, not going overboard, putting an animal above the rights and the existence of a human being. In addition to that, ikhwani, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his companions, and a camel walked over to him, started moving his mouth by the ear of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the people were looking, and the companions used to be transfixed on him. If he smiled, they want to know, Ya Rasulullah, what makes you smile? If he became angry, Ya Rasulullah, may my mother, my father be ransomed for you. Why? What makes you angry? They were students of knowledge. They wanted to know. Today, you give the ayah, you give the hadith. He won't go to check it. He won't go to get further understanding. Just through one ear, out the other ear. The companions were students. The camel came, moved his mouth. Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose camel is this? A man said, that's my camel, Ya Rasulullah. He said, this camel has just complained to me that you overburden the camel and you put a lot of weight on the camel. You put a lot of weight on him and you don't feed him well and you don't give him food to drink. Let it go free. The man didn't say, Ya Rasulullah, but I paid money, I need that camel. He said, let it go. And that's how they used to be. He's sitting with his companions. He said to Abdullah bin Mas'ud, go to that tree over there and bring me back the miswak. Abdullah bin Mas'ud then say, Ya Rasulullah, you think I'm a kid? You think I'm a kid? Why don't you tell Hassan Hussein, one of these kids, let them go. I'm a grown man. ما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا. It's not befitting for a believing man, believing woman. If he says something, you got to get with the program. He went and he climbed up the tree. He didn't make any i'tirad. Ya Rasulullah, you think, well, what is that? You think I'm a monkey? I got to climb up the tree? Ya Rasulullah, don't do that to me. He went up the tree. Some people walked by the tree and they looked and they saw that he had very, 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 very skinny legs. And they laughed at Allah's creation. The one with Iman, one of the ulama of the Quran. Rasulullah said, what are you laughing at? Are you laughing at the shin of Ibn Mas'ud? Wallahi, للرجل عبد الله بن مسعود في الميزان أثقل من جبل أحد يوم القيامة. One shin of Ibn Mas'ud is heavier than Mount Uhud in the scale Yawm al-Qiyamah. Because Yawm al-Qiyamah, there is a physical scale. You have to believe in that. It's the Quran, that's the Sunnah. There is a scale. 3 things will be put in that scale. 1, everybody will be put in that scale and you will be weighed. If you take your beard off, it's going to affect your weight. If you pluck your eyebrows, it's going to be reflective in that. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yu'ta yawm al-qiyamah birajul azim samin fayuda'u fi al-mizan fala yazinu inda Allahi junah ba'uda. A big, fat, opulent man will come yawm al-qiyamah because he had money, he ate the best things, had the nicest clothes, lived in the nicest house. He's overweight. People looked at him and said, man, I wish I could be like that cat right there. He's so happy. Look at his Benz. Look at his power. Look at his clout. He'll be put in the scale, and he won't equal a gnat's wing. Not the gnat, a gnat's wing. Another example of Islam taking knowledge and benefit from animals and insects. Second thing that will be put in the scale, is your actions, your deeds. So some people came and they said, I don't believe in that. How is it that the dhikr of Allah is not tangible? You can't grab it, can't hold it, can't taste it, can't smell it. This, I believe, you put the glass in the scale, it's going to matter. But dhikr of Allah, salat, I mean, Hajj 3 times, 4 times in the past, how was that in the scale? What are you talking about? These are from the issues of the unseen. Yawm al-Qiyamah is different. You have to believe in that. Your actions will be put in the scales. And thirdly, the books that are written against you or for you, they're going to be put in the scale, like the hadith of the Bataqa, La ilaha illallah. The man did a lot of evil all his life, never did good. All of his bad deeds will be brought, 99 books on the left side, and it's going to be like that. It's going to be said, do you have any good deeds? He said, no. He said, you have one good deed. And Allah will not oppress you fatila. Allah won't oppress you anything the size of an ant. And you have La ilaha illallah. And that will be put in the scale, and it's going to go the other way. Those 3 things. And that goes to show the importance of having tawheed. The importance of aqeedah, not being an enemy of aqeedah. Not being of the people who are fighting the prophets and the messengers and their message. And their greatest message was the message of a tawheed. And you in opposition to it. And you don't even realize it. Because given the choice of bringing someone who's going to call the people to pure Islam or someone who's going to call them to shirk and khurafat, you prefer this guy right here. He's in opposition to the dawah of the Anbiya. Nonetheless, that man, he let the camel go. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, ikhwani, if that was the mu'amal and the way he dealt with the camel, where he told the owner of the camel, don't do this, then what do you think now, okay? Some of you sit there and say, mashallah, it's rahmah, and that's the haqq. But while you're sitting there, you're making the mistake of not considering that you employ someone, a human being, and you don't give him his haqq. You don't give him his money. You cheat him from his money. You're worried about the camel, and you're inspired by the hadith of the rahmah of the Nabi towards the camel and how he protected the camel. But stay balanced, not like Europe, not like the West, where the animal becomes more important than Bani Adam. Your child, your wife. Got to be fair, you got to be just. I'dilu bayna uladikum. Be fair and just between your children. Last issue about the animals, and there are many. A bird will come Yawm al-Qiyam and the bird will say, Rabbi sal hadha lima qatalani. A bird will come Yawm al-Qiyam and it will say, oh my Lord, ask him, why did he kill me? Because there are some people who go hunting for animals, they shoot them, they kill them, and they just leave them and keep going. Like that American doctor, he went to Africa and he shot a lion, and then the whole world started looking for the criminal because he shot the lion. Everybody was upset. He shot the lion. He had to go under the radar, hiding. And at the same time, the Muslims in Syria were being killed. And it's usually us, Palestine, Syria, Kashmir, all of these places, Afghanistan, all of these places. The lion. So many things can be said as it relates to the animals, but I have to give the last few minutes to bring to your attention the issue of the importance of the environment. First thing that we have to say about the environment, Ikhwani, is Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the beginning of the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك. Remember when your Lord said to the Malaika, one of the greatest creations, verily I'm going to place in the earth a Khalifa, someone who is responsible for the earth. They said, are you going to place one therein who's going to do fasad? And he's going to shed blood. That's how he is. While we, the Malaika, we glorify you and we praise you, why put them jokers in the earth? They're nasty. The Malaika said, Allah said, I know what you don't know. Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. I know from amongst them there are prophets and messengers. Salawatullahi wa salam alayhim. I know from amongst them are the companions of the prophets and the messengers. Radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. I know from amongst them are regular people who are masakeen, but they're from the awliya. They're good, decent people. Not all of them are criminals. I know what you don't know. So the point, the human beings are the khulafa. We're responsible for this earth. We're responsible for the environment. Can't do anything in the earth. You're responsible. So we have to know that the earth also worships Allah. He said, many ayat of the Quran, إِنَّا أَرَأْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فَأَبَيْنَ يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظُلُومًا جَهُولًا. Verily, I, Allah, we offered the responsibility of the amana. We offered it to the heavens and the earth, and to the heavens and the earth and the mountains. And they refused to take this amana. And they were afraid of its responsibility. But mankind took it on board. And verily, he is oppressive and he is extremely ignorant. So the earth, it has a life that Allah knows its reality. Just like our life, we have a life. He said in the Quran, وَأَنزَلْنَا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ عَلَى جَبَلٍ لَرَأَيْتُ خَاشِعًا مُتَصَدِّعًا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. Why would it fall down? Because the mountain fears Allah. If that Quran came down on the mountain, the kalam of Allah, that creation would be afraid of the message in that Quran. Whereas Bani Adam, he doesn't want to know the message, so he doesn't read the Quran. He just has some symbols. When he picks up the Quran, he goes like this. That's the Quran to him. But before doing that, he has to clean off all the dust that's on it because it's been there since last Ramadan. The jibal, the heavens, the earth, nah, they're afraid. He said in the Quran, تَكَادُ السَّمَاوَاتِ يَتَفَتَّرْنَ مِنْهُ وَتَنْشَقُّ الْأَرْضُ وَتَخِرُّ الْجِبَالِ هَدًّا أَنْ دَعُوا لِلرَّحْمَنِ وَلَدًا. The Christians say that Allah has a son. Allah said that the heavens are about to rent asunder, and the earth is about to split open, and the mountains on the earth are about to crumble, that they would say, Ar-Rahman has a son. So these creations have ghira for a tawheed. Shirk bothers the creation. But Bani Adam, he wants this shirk, he wants this kufr. And his religion is the religion that is diametrically opposed to his shirk. His religion is a religion of tawheed. So how is it, ikhwani, how is it that these messages of the effect and the impact of the religion, at-tawheed, the Quran, at-taqwa, it has on the creation, but when it comes to the human being, it doesn't affect him. That is part of the meaning and the seriousness of being a person who has a heart that is blinded by khamr, blinded by hip-hop music, blinded by dunya and wealth. To be a person who's living this life and you're just going around like the animals, you're just going around. And the ayah said, Balhum adal. Some of them are like the cattle, some of them are even worse. Because the cattle, they worship Allah too. They worship Allah. So those points I had to make before getting into the issue with the environment. The heavens, the earth, the ozone layer, global warming. Al-Islam considered all of this, the environment. And what was collected by the Imam Muslim, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, said that the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ittaqu al-la'inain. Avoid and beware of the two la'nas, the two curses. Companions, they don't know what is he talking about. And this is the way he used to teach. He used to teach in many ways. He was the best teacher. He wouldn't always just give you a baked potato, it's ready. This is the environment we live in. Just put it in the microwave, pop it in the microwave, and take it out and eat it. No, ya akhi, you have to learn your religion. إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. Getting knowledge comes by struggling for it. Not going to sit in the comfort of your home and get knowledge like that. You have to go out. You have to spend money. You have to come and spend time. But while you're doing it, it's going to benefit you greatly, tremendously. So one of the ways he used to try to make the people inquisitive. Use your mind. Use your brain. Do you people know who the bankrupt person from our ummah is? He asked them the question. And then he would explain to them. But he wanted people to think. He said, beware of, watch out, fear the two lanas. They said, what are the two lanas, Ya Rasulullah? We want to know. What are the two lanas? He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, الذي يبول في طريق الناس أو ظلهم. The two lanas is the one who urinates in the path of the people. The place where the people gather, they walk, they assemble, someone urinates there. And then you know what's going to happen after the urine becomes dry, the stench, like the homeless. I haven't seen any homeless here in Malaysia, but I'm sure there has to be poor people and homeless people. People drink and get drunk. They urinate. The second one is the one who urinates in the shade of the people. In the desert, there's one tree in the middle of the desert. That tree is important. One of the Arabic words that I want to tell you about is called tihama, tihama. And the word nasim, nasim. Nasim is a gentle wind that comes in the desert. And you like it because the desert is so hot that when that wind comes, it makes a difference. And although it's subtle, you appreciate it. So that's the meaning of that name, that word, nasim, nasim. In that tree of the desert, the shade is different from being in the sun. Different. So here comes a person who's on the minhaj of me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. It's just about me. Just about me. The kid says to his mother, hey, Ma, I want a pair of sneakers, trainers, trainers, sneakers. Michael Jordan's, Air Force 25. I want a mobile phone, the newest iPhone. The mother's a single mother with 6 kids behind her. And this knucklehead, he's putting pressure on his mother to get a mobile phone that costs so much money because he's on that minhaj, me, myself, and I. You're the eldest teenager in your house. You want to go out and come back late. You want to be a problem. Your brothers and sisters are looking at you. The drama that you're creating in the house. They're following your sunnah. Because you're on that me, myself, and I minhaj. So this guy, he goes to the tree in the desert. And he urinates in the tree, under the tree. He relaxes himself, but it's time to roll out. He wants to bounce. He gets up, and he says, I come up with a brilliant idea. Let me just go ahead and tap my bladder right here while I'm under this tree. And then he leaves. Now, the next person comes, and he has to sit there, and he has to deal with that. That hadith has a lot of benefit. One of the benefits of the hadith is that it shows we are responsible for the environment. One of the things that I told my children about Malaysia, and I saw this myself, is that you guys, as a people, you have a quality that many of my people don't have in Africa, and many of the Arabs don't have. And that is cleanliness and navam. And again, I'm not saying this to blow smoke in your ear. There's a reality. This place is clean. You go to the Muslim world, you go to the Arab world, Africa, whoo-hoo. The person is driving down the street, he drinks this, he just throws it, chucks it out the window. Just like that. Trash everywhere. Everywhere. You even see a person, he just right in front of people. How can you do that? You're responsible for having adab, and you're responsible for respecting the environment that other people are sharing with you. So how is it that these big companies, they want to make money, so they go into the rainforest in Brazil and South America, and they kill and destroy the whole rainforest to make money. And they don't care that 15, 20, 30 years from now, there's a price to pay. Somalia, our Somalia, that country is in turmoil right now, turbulent situation. They're in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's the country that has had the longest civil war known to mankind. Muslim country. Put your finger on the map in the Arab world. There is blood flowing all over the place. And a lot of the blood is civil blood, civil war, internal. And that goes to show the truthfulness of the Prophet ﷺ. قال دعوت ربي وسألت ثلاثة فأعطاني ثنتين ومنعني واحدة. I made dua to my Lord for three things. He refused me two and gave me one. He is mustajab ad-dua. He's mustajab ad-dua. But Allah is the one who is the ilah, not Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I asked Allah, oh Allah, don't allow my community to be destroyed by a flood like the people of Noah. So Allah gave me that. He gave me two, denied me one. So the tsunami that happened a few years ago, Indonesia, different countries, some of the Muslims were drowned by floods, but the whole ummah won't be destroyed. I asked Allah not to allow the external enemy to come and destroy us. And He gave me that. They will never defeat this ummah in its totality. And then He said, وَسَأَلْتُ اللَّهَ أَنْ لَا يَكُنْ بَأْسُ أُمَّتِي بَيْنَهُمْ شَدِيدًا. I asked Allah not to allow the internal strife and fighting of my ummah to be severe. He didn't give me that. So you'll find people in this auditorium right now fighting vehemently, passionately against people who the same blood runs in their veins. So concerning this issue of the environment, the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, mentioned too many things. The Quran mentioned too many things about the importance of the Muslim seeing himself as being responsible. If a bee were to fly into the room, if an insect, something, whatever, it was to come and it was to bother you, you have to give him a chance to live because he's going to worship Allah. But don't be an extremist and don't misunderstand what I'm saying. You get these people, ISIS, they just go overboard. The guy, he says, okay, I hear what you're saying, Abu Usamah, yeah. The ants, they make tasbih. Everything, all the insects, they make tasbih. the ankabut, everything makes tasbih. The nahl, the bee, everything makes tasbih. So what he does is, he's not good with his hygiene, and he has those insects crawling around his head. You say, hey, man, you got to go comb your head. You got to clean your head. He say, hey, they making tasbih. No, man, what are you talking about, man? You got to get a grip with you. What are you talking about? That's not the fiqh of that hadith. At-tuhur shatrul iman. Cleanliness is half of iman. What I'm trying to get you to understand is, stay balanced. Don't go overboard in your interpretations. Don't go overboard in your application. Don't love too much. Don't hate too much. Don't eat too much. Don't sleep too much. Don't worship too much. And that's the meaning of the dua, ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. If you love too much, it's a problem. You know, you love overboard. The girl, the boy, they love too much, so they're going to compromise their honor. She's going to lose something precious. She's going to lose something precious because of love. And this is a reason why we don't need to be celebrating Valentine's Day and all of this stuff. And we don't need to be watching these programs that jack us up. So the time has just evaporated, and it's saying big sign, time up, in red, time's up. I don't know. It's a conspiracy. I'm one of those conspiracy theorist guys. It's red. I'm sure I'm the only one they did that to, too. Because I'm black. You guys are with America, you guys. I could keep going. And you have people like that, ikhwani. You have people like that. Stay balanced. With that, ikhwani, my brothers and sisters, my elders, all of you brothers, this is my last lecture that I'm going to give to you guys. Don't know if I'm going to see you people again. One thing I want to leave you with is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what he was doing when he sent Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the religion of Islam. All of us, we have to push ignorance off of ourselves. Know enough about your religion that you know what you're doing. قُلْ هَذِي سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say unto them, Muhammad, this is my way, this is my path, my religion. I call to Allah with knowledge, me and those who follow me. Get knowledge about your religion so that we can deal with these challenges that are facing us on a daily basis. And you young people, especially, Allah knows what the future holds. But regular Islam, normal Islam, they want to change our religion. Liberal people, enemies to the prophets and the messengers. And their names are the names of Muslim names. As the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hum min bani jildatina, yatakallamun bi-alsinatina. They are from us and they talk our language. His name is Muhammad and Ahmed. Normal Islam, in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, it's okay to be a homosexual. It's okay to be a lesbian. It's okay. It's okay for the woman to come on Friday in America, in the UK, PhD holder, African-American lady, she gives the khutbah on Friday. One lady gives the adhan for the Jummah. One lady gives the adhan, and then she gives the khutbah on Friday. And then when it's time to pray, she prays in front of the Jama'at. And in the first row, a man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man. And the whole Jama'at is like that. And then they come and say, what's wrong with that? Equality, democracy. And then if you have the nerve and the audacity to say this is not the religion, they say, you're mutashaddid, you're rough, you're tough, you're this, you're that. So we have some serious challenges, and one of the most effective ways of dealing with them, knowledge, and more knowledge. We ask Allah Ta'ala to accept it from us and from you. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Oh تيرارارا. في غمرة بهجتنا هنو يلا اللي تحبون في حزتها.